You start going to the gym, but a few days later, you're on the couch scrolling or playing video games after you just skipped your last gym session. You've bought a new journal and you're planning on grateful journaling, writing down an entry a day. But after a few entries, well, it's now been a couple weeks, and the last entry you've written down was from weeks ago. I'm going to tell you why this happens. I'm going to tell you why you can't stay consistent. And I'm going to tell you how to make good habits like going to the gym, journaling, or meditating so easy that you won't skip them. My name is Ray, and I was extremely inconsistent at sticking to the good habits. In 2015, my friend and I, we signed up to a gym. We signed up to LA Fitness, and we only went like 10 times, and we had the membership for like a year. A couple of years after that, I signed up to Planet Fitness on my own, where I also became a gym donor. My diet wasn't very consistent either. I wanted to lose weight, but I kept on binge eating and eating junk foods. Bro, I didn't even consistently take a shower back then or brush my teeth. I wanted to like read, journal, and meditate every single day and go to the gym. I wanted to do these things daily, right? All the good habits. I wanted to do them I want to do all of them every day. But there were times where I would read one day, I wouldn't read the next, but I um, would journal another day, but then didn't go to the gym. You know what I mean? I just couldn't nail everything down at once. Nowadays, I'm super consistent. I go to the gym every day, I ground every day, I read every day, meditate, uh, journaling, anything you can think of that's in the good habits, I do it every day. Doing these things are actually fun for me now, and it's almost like I'm an addict, but to these good habits, and I get my fix every day. You know what I mean? Here's a few lessons that changed me from an inconsistent boy to a disciplined man that I am today. Number one, progressively overloading habits. If you're familiar with the gym, then you know the term progressive overload. Well, I would hope you would. I'd hope you know that term. If you don't know the term, it pretty much means adding weight or adding reps or adding sets to an exercise as it becomes easier or more comfortable to you. For example, let's say you start off with 20-pound dumbbells to bench, rather to do some curls, to do bicep curls. You start with 25 pounds, or you start with 20 pounds, sorry, and then over time you would add 5 pounds to it. So you then move on to the 25-pound dumbbell instead of the 20s. Then once that becomes easy for you, you move on to the 30-pound, then the 35, then the 40. You get what I mean. You slowly increase the difficulty as you get comfortable with whatever you're doing. Here's where people fuck up. When they want to build a new habit, everybody wants to just jump into the deep end. They want to go all out, right? You want to, for example, start going to the gym, but you want to go 6 days a week, but you can't even go to one day a week. Like, you can't even consistently go one day a week. So you need to slow the fuck down and just set your goal to one day instead of 6. Make it easy for yourself. And once you start hitting that one day mark every week, then you can slowly bring it up. Then you can go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. But you have to be consistent with just one day before you move on to a more challenging goal. The reason why this works is because once you master the easier target goal, it tells your brain that you've achieved something, like you won this, right? And it releases dopamine, which makes it want to do that activity again because you've won in that particular activity. With that dopamine spike that your brain gives you, you'll just naturally want to do that activity, whatever habit that is, again and again and again. But that only happens if you keep on winning and winning and winning. So give your brain a win, and then your your brain will give you back dopamine. And once that happens, you'll want to naturally do that activity, that habit again. And this applies to all habits. The reason why you can't meditate for 20 minutes straight is because you haven't even done it for 1 minute. Try it for 1 minute, and then once that becomes comfortable, once it becomes easy for you, then let's do 2, then 3, 4, and then work your way up to 20 minutes. If you want to be able to read a book for an hour a day, well, if you're not doing that right now, it's probably because you just can't. Let's start with reading it for 15 minutes, then 20, 25, and you get my point. Once I learned that you could apply progressive overload to everything in your life, to all the habits that you want to implement, it made it so much easier to be consistent with them. Number 2, schedule the habit, and schedule it before you do anything fun. For months, I procrastinated on making these videos, the ones you're watching right now. But once I scheduled it and put it into my calendar, I gave it its own block of time. You need to schedule the habit that you want to get into somewhere in your day. You can't just think that, oh, I'll do it sometime during the day, right? Because you're going to procrastinate on it, just like I did. You're going to procrastinate on it, and the day is just going to go by. And you're going to tell yourself, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. Let me do this first. Oh, let me do this first. Something else will come up. You'll do that first instead. Because the task that you have in mind, the habit that you have in mind, isn't familiar, isn't comfortable with to you yet. So you'll pick up other things that are comfortable, that are familiar, that are easier in your mind to do. Personally, I use Google Calendar to schedule everything in my day. I might show like a little video of it right here, just so you guys get the point. It's actually such a game changer when you schedule everything in your life. But the very least you could do is schedule the things that you're trying to get into. A real key is to schedule this habit, to schedule this activity, whatever it may be, before you do anything fun. Here's what I mean. Have you ever tried to eat something sugary, very sweet, and then try to eat something else that's sweet but not as sweet afterwards? Like eating ice cream and then afterwards eating like a fruit. This usually makes the fruit taste like shit, right? That's sort of how your brain makes these good habits feel after you do something fun. You won't want to meditate or read after doing something fun like playing video games, because your brain won't give you as much dopamine for those activities than the previous one. And number 3, habit stacking. Habit stacking is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you stack 2 or more habits together. This creates a routine that makes it very, very easy for you to stick to a habit, and it's very powerful when you do it. It's actually so powerful that most people don't even realize that they're already doing it. For example, when you go take a shit, what's the next thing you automatically do? Well, unless you're fucking disgusting, you go wash your hands. That's a habit stack that we learn as children. Another example is I always take a walk after I eat. That's combining the habit of walking with the habit of eating. So figure out how you can stack the habit that you want to get into with something that you already do during the day. If you found this helpful, subscribe and hit the bell for more videos like this. You can hit here, you can tap here for my most recent video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.